ba 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 ba
Comics. I like that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
So this is the special edition, the special Comic-Con 2016 San Diego Boy, this is the San Diego Comic... How should we say that? The 2016 San Diego Comic-Con
Special edition DVD release.
DVD release.
With bonus footage.
Yeah.
That we weren't able to shoot when we were originally making the podcast.
Right. Podcast.
Yes.
Because it has to be the podcast at the end.
Yeah.
Episode of The Comic Box.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to say Electric Boogaloo. Okay. So if you guys recognize that sensuous voice there. And Ruffle, somebody actually said this. Somebody liked the ruffling of the beard. So bring it into the mic. Bring it in. There you go. That's Liam's mighty beard. You can lean back now. That's... I'm the only one wearing headphones, and that was...
sensuous?
Yes, sure. So with me, as before... is Liam O'Rourke. Say hi, Liam.
Hi, Liam.
And then in the corner is our friend Chelsea is here as well, though she is neglecting. I assume we'll get glares from time to time.
Well, she's on timeout, so.
But she is here. Did you know? Nothing?
Glare number 1.
There it is. So we all just came from a wonderful brunch and then decided we would sit down and start going over some of the Comic-Con stuff. Now, it seems like the majority of the news... isn't news, it's trailers.
Or olds, as it's referred to.
Right. What?
News, olds.
Olds, okay. Wow, that went right over my head. I am full of breakfast.
This is the kind of wit that has, 148 independent downloads.
That's true.
Yeah.
As of this moment, the Liam episode of the Comic Box is the most popular episode with 148 downloads.
Booyashaka!
So, we'll see. The new episode I just put out last night, we're recording this Sunday afternoon. The one I did last night with my wife is giving it a run for its money because it's only been up there a little more than 12 hours, and that has 110. So we'll see.
We will.
But yes, it seems like a lot of the big news as far as the comic books themselves are concerned came out leading up to Comic-Con. There was actually a conversation happening between a fan and the Marvel writer Dan Slott, who I believe is writing a Spider-Man book right now, I think. But between the two of them about why there isn't really big news relating to the comics coming out of Comic-Con, and the answer was simply spoilers. He said it's actually to the point where, because comics are announced so many months in advance with their solicitations of what's going to come up in several months, they can't even have good covers or the best covers they can because they can't spoil what's happening in that comic because it's not coming out for a few months and they don't want to spoil the events of the book because they're worried that'll affect sales. We did get some surprise trailers this time.
Yes, we did.
I say we just kind of launch in. Or do you want to start with the actual news first? I'm told that we need to organize better by our friend Damien told me that it would be a good idea for us to organize sort of by publishing company because he isn't a huge comic fan, and in his mind it's very much... Apparently Rob, tend to jump from DC to Marvel and back again and that sort of thing. And he's like, it'd be easier for him if he knew what universe I was talking about.
Yep.
So you have organized a list that way. What do we have at the top of our list?
That would be the Wonder Woman trailer.
Okay. What did you think of the Wonder Woman trailer?
I think it looked pretty awesome, actually. I admittedly have not seen the Yawn of Justice, so I don't know what her first on-screen appearance as Wonder Woman was like, but I very much enjoyed Gal Gadot in the new trailer. I thought she looked the role, she sounded the role, and I like that it's kind of a period piece. It looks like it's set back in World War II era.
I believe it's World War
War
I.
One. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked
in Superman v Batman is Bruce Wayne is doing research and he comes across a picture of Wonder Woman in the full Wonder Woman outfit standing with Steve Trevor and these other soldiers, and I believe it's dated like 1917 or something like that.
Okay.
So we very clearly get it, and while he's looking at that picture, they introduce the Wonder Woman theme that you hear at the very end of the trailer. So that music was heard multiple times during the Superman or Batman v Superman film. As far as what you missed, it was good. Like the Wonder Woman stuff was very good in the movie, but the best part of it was just flat out action stuff. So if you can imagine just her running around, fighting Doomsday.
What I heard is that she's the best part of the movie, but has about 10 words of dialogue. So
it was very much just introducing her character so apparently, because nobody knows who Wonder Woman is, so we need to be introduced to her.
Well, she's a relatively new character.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very true.
Not exactly a tentpole of the DC lexicon or anything.
Yeah, it's not like a cyborg, hasn't really been around that long.
Yeah.
So really needs that independent introduction in another movie first.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it looks good as well. I like that it seems like they're trying to keep it a little lighter, which is good. It's important. I hope they sort of learned their lesson in that the reason Marvel movies are so successful is because there is levity in there as well. There are jokes, there is, some level of humor. And I think that that's important because, yes, it's okay to do serious films, but they don't all need to be all super serious. And Watchmen is one thing, a Superman movie is another, and that's really why people were railing against the Superman films that Snyder did, was that they're just way too serious and it's too dark. So while it's a World War I movie, and I guess I'd be okay with a more serious Wonder Woman film.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that it sounds like they're going to add some humor in there as well, which is important.
And I saw Chris Pine in the trailer there.
That is Steve Trevor, yeah.
Okay. One thing we all can look forward to is to see his on-screen death.
Not a Chris Pine fan?
Well, every time we have had the opportunity for an on-screen Chris Pine death, we're robbed of the opportunity by magic, blood from Benedict Cumberbatch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and totally different universe. Doctor Strange, well, I don't know if Doctor Strange can travel between dimensions.
Ooh.
Right. Maybe we'll still get magic Benedict Cumberbatch blood.
That would be a wonderful thing. And
Cumber blood.
The Star Trek franchise has sort of floundered back and forth between the DC and Marvel verse, so we'll see where it lands. A nice DC Star Trek crossover.
I want to say the last Star Trek crossover I saw was it X-Men Star Trek?
I think that sounds about right, yeah.
Or wasn't there a Green Lantern Star Trek crossover that just happened last year?
Possibly. That sounds vaguely familiar, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not up on it.
Which, is important. Yeah. But so we're looking forward to Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
In other words.
Totally.
So despite not, seeing...
And Chris Pine is fine. I have nothing against him.
But yes, I think she does look the part well. I like that they were trying to play up the fact that she's wearing armor. Like they focus on her boots. How
I
her
thought that
boots,
looked cool.
Instead of the go-go kind of boots, they're armored boots. You're like, yes, but she still has no straps holding up that corset. She's still basically having to run around in corset armor, so she still can't breathe.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I've heard a lot of people be like, we just something. Give us something that's holding it up.
Yeah.
Besides destroying her ability to breathe.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wonder Woman, the trailer I did not expect to see come out of San Diego. I mean, I know that they're in the process of filming, but was the Justice League trailer.
Yeah, I thought that was quite a ways off in the future still. I didn't realize that they were actually in the process of production. So
and had gotten that much done, even in special effects and stuff.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't know if Jason Momoa shows up as Aquaman in the Batman Superman movie.
Yes, he does. Very briefly.
So
here's how it works is they break into the computer system, I think Lex Luthor's computer or whatever, and literally he has folders on his computer, and each folder is labeled with the superhero logo of each one of these characters already. And I believe... I'm trying to remember if they actually even have the character names. Like Lex Luthor apparently just decided, it would be really cool? This would be a really sweet Wonder Woman logo. Yeah. Like here's the logo.
He has a team of graphic artists that he works with.
Yeah, he creates a Flash logo. So it was kind of annoying in that sense. But each one is you got a snippet of it. So you get a snippet of our new Barry Allen, our cinematic Barry Allen, stopping people from robbing a convenience store, I think. And then you see... Cyborg sort of as he's being turned into Cyborg, and he's like missing limbs, and you see what looks like a mother box float towards him, and then like a bunch of lightning and things crackling. And I'm doing this off of memory here. And then with the Wonder Woman one, I think that's where Bruce Wayne saw the old picture And then for Aquaman, it was like a submersible video. So it's floating around, and then you just see him like turn around and then like attack the camera with the trident. So it's very short.
Okay.
But you just see the fact that this is what Aquaman kind of looks like. You know, which is the picture we've seen. He's got tattoos and long hair, and it's Jason Momoa.
Which I'm absolutely on board with.
Right.
I am going on the record now. I am a fan of Aquaman.
In general, or this appearance?
In general, I've always liked Aquaman. I've never understood why people like to, like badmouth him and make fun of him quite so much. I understand that it's fun to have a punching bag,
Yeah.
But there are so many worse comic book heroes and villains with much more worthless powers than Aquaman claims to have. I mean, Aquaman is a fairly useful character,
Sure.
It just really more depends on the writer. And I understand that people are on Earth and he's in the water, but, the planet is 80% water. So, I mean, there's going to be some overlap there.
I think it's the difficulty in giving the character the right amount of gravitas to say, this person is the ruler of 80% of the planet. Like, you would almost think he would be like this Genghis Khan evil dictator kind of guy, more like a Black Adam type, the ruthless dictator. And I think that's just it, is he's always kind of there, and you never really know, the writers don't really know how to use him. And I mean, growing up reading comics in the 90s, you have the hook-handed, shoulder armor, long hair and beard, gruff Aquaman, which I kind of liked because it suited a guy who had to rule that much and deal with the crap that comes with ruling.
And I have that issue where he gets the hook hand at the end of it for the very first time. It was a weird comic because I hadn't really read Aquaman in a while, and I didn't know at the time of getting it that he had lost his hand. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's got that.
I might have the issue where he loses it.
Yeah. I think it's issue 0 or something of Aquaman. It's like a reboot.
Because I have one, it's like Aquaman Time and Tides or Tide and Time. It doesn't matter. It's we're sitting next to my boxes, but we're not going to bother digging through them. So we got a bit more of a glimpse at Aquaman here, and him talking to Bruce Wayne, who is being all like, I don't know.
I hear you can talk to fish.
Yeah, like,
which is a little bit of a joke, but
smarmy,
still respectful.
But smarmy Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
it's like there were the idea of like, oh, people thought Batman v Superman was too serious, so for some reason their solution is for Batman to be making jokes.
Well, I think that's probably a Ben Affleck-ism that they left in. I think at one point they were probably talking, and he's like talking about hitting somebody in the head with a baseball bat, and they were like, whoa, that's a little too much there, Ben. And then they scale it back, and he's like, well, how about I just talk about fish? Okay, that's an acceptable compromise.
The music choice I thought was weird, because they're trying to make it seem like more of like the Suicide Squad had great music for all of their trailers. And we had yet another trailer 18 or whatever it was for this movie, at Comic-Con.
We'll put a pin in that one.
But I felt like the music was wrong. I felt like the Justice League thing should be huge. Like, Avengers, okay. Justice League should be bigger. It should feel bigger. And they were trying to use more upbeat music. I guess he's in his Bruce Wayne persona, but I would feel if he's there not as Bruce Wayne, even if he's not wearing the mask, if he's sort of there as Batman. I've loved the Grant Morrison take on Batman, where he creeps everybody out because he's this ultra serious guy who's super duper serial about fighting crime.
Super
duper serial about fighting crime. And I like that take on him because we already see that the Flash is going to be their young guy.
Yeah.
Which really, if they wanted to do it, I'm sorry, Wally West. Come on.
He is the more appropriate young character.
Yeah.
So it does feel a little bit like the Quicksilver from the Days of Future Past kind of thing, where they're using the quick guy as the youthful character just because of the inherent energy,
Right. And if you were going to... But
it looks like it'll be fun.
Yes. It's just if you were going to have one character be that, I guess it makes sense for it to be the Flash out of the characters they have assembled.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to turn Cyborg, who is also young, because he's a college athlete, I think, or whatever, that gets injured and then turned into Cyborg.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to turn him into the comic relief as well, because then you're just going to start up a whole storm of conversation that you don't want, as your one black character is also your comic relief.
Yeah.
So it was a good move
to
have that as the Flash. It was just one of those, like, campy Batman. Not campy, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. I did laugh out loud at the part of the trailer with the Flash, though, when he catches the Batarang and he's just like instantly on board with joining because I need friends. Yeah, I thought that was very funny. It caught me off guard. I wasn't really expecting it, and I laughed out loud.
And now the big conversation there, obviously, is having two different Flashes, one on TV and one in movies. I was going to ask. You don't watch the Flash TV show.
I do not. I do not have the CW, and I do not choose to seek out the CW online.
Okay. I generally can't say, like, it's the CW, so there's still the pretty kids with problems thing.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be
Well, if you do more, I have to pay for it.
Okay.
I do like the Flash, though. Like, Arrow, it's not what I would like it to be. But Flash is fun. Like, Flash, if you want to take a fun DC superhero running around in tights comic book and turn it into a TV show, that's the Flash.
Yeah, I've heard Kevin Smith talk highly of that show. So
yes, and then he got to direct an episode too.
That I'm willing to entertain. That it might be worth watching.
So it'll be interesting to see how it's played out in the movie, because it doesn't matter whether or not they're meant to be separate. They're going to get compared. They're going to look at the movie Flash and the TV Flash and say the TV Flash, I'm sure, is going to end up having a lot more heart, and maybe they'll say that the movie Flash is just more fun. But he also seems to have a clunkier costume by far. It's not like a running suit. Which, to be fair, all the CW people are wrapped in pleather, which is silly, but
yeah,
versus armor, which is what it looks like. It looks like they tried to make like an aerodynamic, like if he's running at the speed of, say, a jet flies, a similar speed, so it's like lots of plating kind of things on him, is what it looked like his outfit was. But I'm more excited for Wonder Woman than Justice League.
Yeah, I guess I understand that. Time will see. I guess I'm sort of 50-50 with both at the moment, personally. The JLA I've always been more of a fan of than, like, say, the Avengers. That's been my superhero team of choice,
Sure.
So I've been looking forward to the general idea of a JLA movie for some time, so I'm looking forward to it. Now, the Cyborg, did they bring him into the TV series at all, or is he just a brand new character for this movie? Obviously, he exists in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the comics, and I think a lot of the audience is going to know Cyborg from the Teen Titans cartoons.
Yep.
Because he was in Teen Titans Go, and then did they also have him in Young Justice? Boy, it's been so long since I loved Young Justice, but it's so long since I watched the show. I believe they had Cyborg in that as well.
But he hasn't shown up in the Flash or the Arrow series?
No, they have not had Cyborg. They did have a Cyborg character way back on Smallville.
That's
when
right.
Everybody had hoodies.
Ugh. And nobody had costumes.
Yeah, and so Cyborg did not. It wasn't a costume of any sort. It was all like internal because they didn't want to spend the money to actually give him.
Man, am I glad I never watched that show.
That show had when it was good. That show was really good. But yeah, so I'm curious to see it. I think Cyborg looks really good.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I guess kind of what else comes out of that.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull the pin on the next one then? We put the pin in it. Should we pull it back out?
Yeah, let's pull that pin.
Suicide Squad. Really?
Groan.
Oh, no, dude.
Big groan.
Like, but as a kid, if somebody told you there was going to be a Suicide Squad live-action movie, you would have slapped them. Like, how cool is it that it's happening?
I appreciate the fact that there is a movie being made based more around the bad guys than the good guys. I like that. I liked the comic book when they first introduced the Suicide Squad, probably about 10 years ago or so now, that I remembered, with Catman and Parademon.
Yeah.
That
so
version.
It's a different version of the Suicide.
Yes.
Not the original was much longer ago. But
yeah. So that version of the Suicide Squad, that I read and enjoyed that quite a bit. I just, looking at this movie, it looks painful. Like,
I think it's going to. I don't think it's going to knock anybody's socks off, but I think it's going to do the job that it's setting out to do. I think it looks just fun enough to introduce the characters it wants to introduce into the DC cinematic universe, and it's the right time for it. It seemed odd for Suicide Squad to come so early before we get Justice League or all these other independent hero movies, but it makes sense because in this timeline you have Superman appears and causes all sorts of destruction. We get Batman v Superman in response to that, and then the other response to this, Zod showing up and all that destruction is the Suicide Squad is, okay, so what does the government do in response to this? So their response is, we're going to take a bunch of criminals, we're going to inject bombs into their necks so we can detonate them if they ever do anything we don't like, and we send them on suicide missions in order to, they get a reduced sentence is the deal of the Suicide Squad, or Task Force X, as they're officially known.
And what's her name?
Amanda Waller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Wall.
I love her as a character.
Yeah.
I think she's a very interesting character, and I very much enjoy the idea that the government doesn't just hands off the superhero idea, that they actually consider them to be a threat, because truthfully they would be. So I appreciate that, and I think that element of the movie is believable, and I think the casting choice for her was really good.
So there are things in this movie you're looking forward to, despite an overall groan. So what's the groan for?
Overall groan, Will Smith, I just don't think he's right for this role.
Okay.
I've always really liked Deadshot, and he is just too schmucky of a comic wannabe actor. Parents just don't understand. It's not the way we want to go with Deadshot. Yeah, that's not what I want from my Deadshot. And he's too, jokey and oh, look at this gun. Oh, are you sure you guys want to give me this?
Okay. But just to be clear, you have absolutely no problem with them changing any of the characters, right? You're not...
No, I don't care white or black or whatever. I just don't like him in that role.
Okay.
If you gave me Chiwetel Ejiofor, I would have taken him, because he can play a serious character. He was great in Serenity as the sort of psychopath government agent who's tracking them down.
But see, hasn't Deadshot always had a bit of a sense of humor about him, though? It's a little more wisecracking.
A very wry sense of, dry, ironic kind of humor. Not like a real crack-and-wise Spider-Man-y-esque kind of, banter kind of thing. So, and maybe that's just what I've read of the character, but I didn't like that part.
Okay.
I like the fact that the Killer Croc is involved. And I like that Harley Quinn is involved. Aside from that, I couldn't name any of the other characters. They're so not recognizable from what their comic versions were.
Well, Katana seems pretty straightforward.
Katana, yes.
And we have seen a live-action version of her as well on Arrow.
Okay.
And then she's also been in some of the cartoons and stuff as well. So as far as the fire guy, El Diablo, I think.
Okay.
And then
Tattoo Face.
And then there's Captain Boomerang, which...
That's right,
To be fair, he was an original member of the Suicide Squad.
Though.
I know. I think they're trying to hide that so people don't...
You have to show me him throwing a boomerang in order for me... okay, Captain Boomerang. Okay.
Yeah.
Until then, he's just that big guy wearing the big coat. Okay?
And then there's the dude Slipknot, who you only see in the very background of things.
Ugh.
The hangman guy, because I'm pretty sure he dies right away. Especially in
this... See, that's just what I'm looking at this trailer. I'm like, that guy's going to die, that guy's going to die, that guy's going to die.
Yeah, because...
It's just cannon fodder.
In the trailer, this new trailer, they start out in the bar together and they're like, well, we failed, but we did our best or whatever. And you notice that Slipknot is not with them. So, clearly, he's a goner. Because he only shows up in very few wide things. So I imagine he's gone right away in order to establish the stakes and be like, that's what happens in the Suicide Squad, is you lose a couple people each time you go out on a mission. That's expected.
Yeah.
Because that's why they're sending villains.
Yeah. And the threat that they're being sent against is so vague. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
I've only seen this new trailer that we, just was released. But it's just some swirling vortex in the sky.
So you're going to send Harley Quinn and Deadshot to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And a guy who can throw a boomerang.
But it seems like maybe the Enchantress is who they're going up after, so it might be a magical thing. Because you never see her with them in the group shots, but we know... You see them when they sent the initial picture of the Suicide Squad, Enchantress is there, though it's a totally different... It's like a voodoo thing in version rather than the classic Enchantress who has like the big witch's hat, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I still want to see it. I hear that they have multiple outfits for Harley Quinn, which I'm excited for because I've always seen the character as more acrobatic than anything else. Mm-hmm. And those are beyond booty shorts. She's just flat out wearing underwear. Yeah. And it looks really uncomfortable. And I don't know how well you can move in something that, I don't know. It's just, I get it. I get that they need that sort of appeal, or they want that sort of appeal, especially when it comes to Harley Quinn. But I didn't like it when they redesigned her in the New 52, and this seems to be kind of following along that road. So I think it was good casting.
Yeah, Margot Robbie seems great for that role. Yeah.
It's just, I hope that it's more plays up the playful or acrobatic, because it shows her like hanging from the ceiling of her cell and all that. And I don't know.
And I was reserving judgment for a long time, but Jared Leto, Joker,
not going to do it for you. You're calling it already.
The tattoos and the shiny teeth. It's just.
Now I was thinking about the
way too hard to be
it's not him.
Joker.
It's the movie.
Yeah.
I mean they do the costume design. He just has to play it up. My understanding is they're doing like a Russian mobster thing where he tattoos himself. I think it makes sense for a modern day Joker to have tattoos. We saw it in like All-Star Batman and Robin where he had the dragon tattoo, which seemed weird. So these tattoos seem more, it's an insane guy. I'll buy that he'll tattoo himself. As far as the grill goes, I didn't like it at first either, but then I realized, how many times do you have to have your teeth knocked out by Batman before you have to get fake teeth? And if you're going to get fake teeth, why wouldn't you make them metal so it hurts Batman more when he tries to punch your teeth out for the 10th time?
I suppose.
In defense of it, I want to wait until I see it. It's off-putting, right off the bat. But so was Heath Ledger's Joker at first. It was kind of like, oh, wow, that's really creepy. That's so different. This is going to be a lot darker. And then immediately, once you started seeing him on screen, you're like, and I'm sold. It was really the same with Ben Affleck and Batman. Everybody's like, oh, no, not Batfleck. No Batfleck. And then everybody walked away and said, you know what? We were fine. That was actually pretty good. Like, the dude got jacked. He played the part really well. He played the dark aspects. He could play the lighter Bruce Wayne stuff. Everybody sort of had to eat their hat on that one. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case here.
So I sort of feel like Will Smith is doing this thing with his career recently where he's just trying to get other people paychecks, and then maybe he's just going to get into a bathtub with a jellyfish and let it sting him, and he's just going to fade away.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
That's a 7 Pounds reference. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
It's a movie where he goes around meeting people and being a jerk to them, and then his intention is to donate his organs to them so that they can improve their lives. And he kills himself by getting into a bathtub with a jellyfish and it stings him. And the idea is then his eyes go to this blind man and his heart goes to somebody who needs a heart and all this stuff. But it just, it feels like he's like, hey, Margot Robbie needs a paycheck. So does Jared Leto. I know what I'll do. I'll get him in on this movie and then I'll just...
He missed the boat with
no
the
Independence Day 2.
That was what I was going to say.
And that's not his fault. That's on the producers of that movie.
Yep.
But you need to have him there. He was the best part of the first one. Him and Goldblum together.
Yeah.
That's gold.
That's gold.
That's gold blooming.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. We have so much more to get to. We're going to have to get shorter in our discussion.
Let's skip the League of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow? So Legends of Tomorrow, at the end of the last season, they introduced Rex Tyler, I believe, who's Our Man. He mentions the Justice Society, and then in the trailer for this next season, we see nothing of the Justice Society.
Yeah.
That was
maybe
kind
Jonah Hex or something in there? I thought
lame.
I saw a cowboy shoot somebody.
Yeah, that's Rip Hunter.
Okay.
He has a thing for the Old West. He's the Time Master. He's the guy who travels through time. Has a thing for the Old West. Got that coat from Jonah Hex.
Okay.
So that's why his laser gun is a revolver thing. I get it. It wasn't amazing. They were trying to do a thing, and I think they probably accomplished what they set out to do, but it wasn't enough for me. It was too whiz bang, gee, wow, fun. And to be fair, it gives them the chance to introduce a lot of characters you wouldn't see otherwise.
That's true.
So I like that.
Is this a show that's already started, or is this...
Yes.
Okay.
They already did one season.
Okay.
It's just, I think it would have been fun. If they wanted to do Legends of Tomorrow, they could do like a DC Legends something and make it an anthology and give me 2-episode, 3-episode arcs with a new character.
Yeah.
Or do a whole season each of a character, like an American Horror Story DC thing, where you're like, oh, this season is Blue Beetle. Well, I'm not a Blue Beetle fan. Okay, wait until next season.
Mm-hmm. Or like a Justice League Unlimited thing, where it's just like, hey, here's Booster Gold and the Blue Beetle. Let's see what they're up to this week.
Which does seem like the DC show that's coming up, Justice League Action. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of different characters in that, so It's obviously much more cartoony.
That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, but it looks like it's going to be fun. Did you ever watch The Brave and the Bold?
A little bit.
I went through that whole series. I didn't think I was going to like it. I never touched it while it was on the air, but when it hit Netflix, I watched it. I actually really enjoyed how campy it got. And each episode, they'd have this little intro, and they would have some obscure character from the DC
thing that
universe.
I liked, is that they bring in characters
I guess
that.
they just prefer doing that in animated form rather than live action. I mean, they do some of that on The Flash. Like, you see Firestorm. You see 2 versions of Firestorm in The Flash. And I think that's really cool. But yeah, so Justice League Action sounds like they have some of the original voice cast coming back. Like Kevin Conroy, he can't escape it. But I will say, but it's so weird for me. Every time I see a different animated movie or whatever where he's voicing Batman, but Batman looks different, I'm okay with him sounding different then, because it's like, I recognize this voice, but you don't look right, dude.
Yeah, I guess I prefer him over Will Arnett though as the voice of Batman.
Okay.
I mean, he was great in the Lego movie, but this Lego Batman movie that's coming out.
Yeah, that's the other trailer. Yeah.
It's a toy shopping commercial.
Yes,
like,
it is.
It's like, hey kids, go down to Toys R Us and see which ones of these we have on the racks today. You know, it looks like it'll be a fun movie. But it's definitely like, oh, we made money on the Lego movie? Well, let's get a sequel tangentially connected out there.
Well, and because there's been 3 different Lego Batman games, and there are other Lego DC things out there.
Yeah. And obviously that's more of a comedic version of Batman as opposed to like a serious Batman.
Exactly. You know? So I think
it'll be fun.
Yes, I think that's fine.
Yeah, like keeping the mask on and taking a shower. And,
yes, exactly.
He never Batman takes all the time.
That's all the time. That's what he does.
So I thought that was funny.
I'm going to wait for it. I'm not going to see it in the theater. I don't think, unless we get everybody together to go for fun.
If I buy a Catwoman DVD of a direct DVD sequel and it's got a free ticket in there,
then maybe.
Then I'll see it. Which is how I saw Catwoman in the theater originally.
Was you got a free ticket from a
DVD purchase.
Okay.
Yep. That's how anybody saw that.
Why would you even bring up a Catwoman? I never saw it. I saw enough scenes like online.
Saw it in the theater.
Let's not
also saw Elektra in the theater.
Stop it. You're hurting me. You're hurting me. This is why we need a Wonder Woman. We need a proper
female
female-led superhero movie.
Who just kicks from the beginning to the end and never has some I need a man moment or Sharon Stone is my ultimate villain.
Yeah.
None of that.
As far as other animated stuff for DC, very quickly they announced, and we have heard of some of these already though, and I didn't see any trailers for these, but there's Justice League Dark, which was, I don't think that comic still exists, but it basically, I mean, DC Comics has tried to take their mystical characters and put them on teams a lot, because there were Sentinels of Magic, and, so this is another iteration with Justice League Dark, so it's like Deadman and John Constantine and Zatanna, obviously.
Yeah, you gotta have her.
So they're going to do an animated movie of that, which is cool. Originally, that was supposed to be a Guillermo del Toro movie of Justice League Dark, which would have been awesome.
I want to see that universe that exists.
With him doing Constantine and Swamp Thing and Deadman, yes.
And Hellboy 3 is out there also,
Yeah.
This wonderful universe where both of those movies got made.
So there's Justice League Dark, there's Teen Titans, The Judas Contract, which I feel like has always been the big Teen Titans story. It's the Deathstroke-centric Traitor Within.
And Terra.
Yes. Yeah. Sort of thing. And that was always sort of the big twist, the big thing that everybody's like, wow, Teen Titans is no longer, a book for kids kind of thing. I never read all the old Teen Titans stuff, but I'll obviously see it. DC is just knocking it out of the park with their animated stuff.
Yeah.
And then finally, Batman and Harley Quinn, which to me sounds like it's going to be like that Batman, what was it, Animal Instincts, or the most recent Batman one where nobody looks right and it was like a straight to Walmart DVD. Yeah. It's clearly for kids and clearly a bunch of toys and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I feel when I see Batman and Harley Quinn. That's what I think of, because that sounds like a weird title for anything else.
Yeah, it's not like Batman and Predator, Batman and Spawn, Batman and Aliens.
Yeah.
Like when we were teenagers and they were doing Batman,
the Dark Horse tie-ins. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing out of this Batman and Harley Quinn thing. I don't know if that's true. I didn't see any pictures, I didn't see any trailers, so we'll see as those come along. But I'm enjoying the other ones where they did the Batman and Son, Batman versus Robin, and where they're using the same voice actors, the same style animation. I'm enjoying that because it's like having a Justice League show back.
Yeah.
So, and it's more adult, certainly, than what Justice League Action looks like. Can't say America for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's Trump's America, they don't want it to be
Yeah.
representative, I guess. Even though it's Bruce Wayne leading the team, right?
Make
if it's
the
Batman
JOA
leading the
great
team.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we move over to Marvel?
I suppose we should.
Let's start with the news, the actual news things, because we didn't get from Comic-Con trailers. They're holding off on trailers that supposedly they showed at least test footage at Comic-Con for Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I think that's it. Am I missing any other ones that they didn't show trailers for? I think it was those where they got to see footage, but we haven't yet. I think everything else is online.
Yeah.
We did get news, though, and I know you have it down at the bottom. Can we jump on the news stuff first? So Kurt Russell. Yeah, so we'll start with Kurt Russell, because this is a thing. So this is confirmed, and this is spoiler territory, so you might want to skip ahead probably a few minutes, I guess, because we're probably going to expound on this as we do everything. But so Kurt Russell is playing Ego, the Living Planet, which is awesome. Except he's not Ego, the Living Planet. He's Ego, the dude.
The living dude.
The living dude. Apparently he is the planet in human form. And here's the spoilers, kids. 3, 2, 1. Ego is Star-Lord's father.
Whoa.
Peter Quill's dad. Which is not the way it goes in the comics. When I first saw this is his character, I was like, oh, that's so cool. This big CG planet with a face on it that looks ridiculous and super 70s Marvel. And
He's
they're
got
like,
the mustache.
yeah, and they're like, no, he's just a dude. And they showed his costume, and it's a normal person. And I guess fine for what they're using it for, but I don't know. That seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
But you know what?
So in the comic, the planet is his father also?
No, in the
Okay.
comic, it's a guy named Jason, but it's J''SON, who is the leader of the Spartoi of the planet Spartax. So he's just half alien, which is why he's able to like live out in the atmosphere where normally he doesn't have the whole mask thing.
Is that why he was able to hold the...
That's what I'm guessing they're going to say
power or
here, is because he's the son of a planet.
Okay.
Which, it sounds weird, but weirder things have happened in comics, certainly in Marvel Cosmic books. So I'm going to let it ride.
suppose,
I'm
yeah.
going to wait until I see it.
Yeah. Any excuse for Kurt Russell to have that mustache, I'm willing to at least be okay with it.
Sneak an eye patch on him,
Ooh.
and you've got my money. I'll go twice.
Yeah. Oh, if you want my money, and this isn't on our list, but it was one of those trailers, they're making a new Arthur movie.
Yeah.
King Arthur.
Yeah. It did.
Oh, man. If you want Liam's money, make something involving King Arthur, and you've got it.
Oh, really?
That's all it takes.
Because I did not like that trailer.
I don't care. I don't think it looks like it's going to be a great movie.
You just like King Arthur.
You have my money.
Okay.
The
That's just your
Arthurian.
thing.
Yep, the Arthurian myth is one of my absolute favorites, and
Which is why you like
nobody
Star
knows
Wars
this.
so much, I imagine.
Nobody knows this.
Oh, Liam's secrets.
My son is named Arthur because I like King Arthur.
Okay.
Yeah. When we were naming him, we came up with names that we liked, and one of the names I liked.
You just kind of stuck
was
it in there.
Arthur.
You didn't say why.
No. I
Okay.
just said that it was a name that I liked.
Oh.
And
So now-
it just so happens to be his name.
Well, we will hide that information by revealing it on a podcast few people listen to.
Well, it's 6 years too late to change anything.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yep.
Nice. Very cool. So other Marvel movie news, we got to see the Hulk armor. I guess there was also test footage shown that we didn't get to see. But they're really pushing everybody wanted, Planet Hulk kind of thing for a Hulk movie. So they're just trying to tell everybody, hey, that's in here. You want that Hulk movie, comic fans, you're going to get it. There was a Planet Hulk cartoon movie that came out.
I watched it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, so they're basically saying, yes, you're going to get that, plus it's more Thor. So I feel like maybe it's just, I don't know, after Thor 2, they just didn't really know what to do anymore. Because they just didn't read the right Thor comics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's another piece of news. The other big Marvel movie news is Brie Larson officially cast as Captain Marvel. As far as I'm aware, you haven't read any of the recent Captain Marvel books.
No.
Okay. I have. They're awesome. If they keep up with that, that's fine. I haven't seen a lot of Brie Larson, though.
Yeah.
'Cause she was on Community and then did...
That's a different actress.
Oh,
Yeah. That's Brie something.
okay.
I recognize her from 21 Jump Street.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, she's in that new movie, Room.
Yes.
Which she won the
Which isn't
Academy
The
Award
Room.
for. Yeah. Much different movie.
Much different movie.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised nobody's cut those together yet, though.
Yeah, you're tearing me apart, Internet.
Oh, hi, Mark. All right, but so I assume good things. Like,
Yeah.
I know there were a lot of choices out there that fans were throwing around as who they really wanted. I haven't seen anything negative about this choice.
Yeah, not a lot of Academy Award winners decide to then go and be superheroes.
Right, I agree. So I'm looking for one way or the other. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's going to be odd how it competes against Wonder Woman because unfortunately I think they're going to get compared because they're the only female-led movies that are being put out by the big two comic book movie companies here. So we'll see because it's not as well known of a character, but it has a very passionate, very loyal fan base.
Okay.
So Wonder Woman obviously much more recognized, but
Is she? I mean, we were talking about that. She needs her own reboot in order to.
Well, yeah, but I think they just wanted to add to the excitement because just like all the other old white dude executives, they're like a female-led movie. So the other Marvel other little piece, and I don't know if there was an actual trailer for the Spider-Man Homecoming, but they did confirm that the Vulture is going to be a villain in it. So I guess cool. I don't know. The Vulture's kind of a...
Yeah. Who did they cast the Vulture?
Probably, but I think they're keeping it quiet.
Okay.
Like there's been people I think that were cast, or maybe it was announced. I didn't look that deep into it. I just saw that they confirmed the Vulture.
Okay.
Because there wasn't a trailer. There wasn't a trailer for me to see. So moving into the actual trailer we got for Marvel movies is we got a new Doctor Strange movie. This looks like a fun flick.
It does. I was like, whatever, until I saw the trailer, and now I'm going to see the movie.
Did you see the first trailer? Because there was the teaser. Okay.
Yeah. Again, not a character that I'm super familiar with, so
no,
I'm
but
not
I don't think you're going to have
to go watch this trailer as soon as they wrote. It was like, okay, yeah, Benedict and Dr. He looks the part, so I'm willing to accept that. The one thing I had seen online was footage of him in the suit jumping.
Oh, where they're in the middle of the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like Benedict Cumberbatch can't jump. Yeah. So that part I have seen, and I thought that was funny.
That doesn't.
And it was in the trailer just barely that scene where they're running in the street, and that's all I could think of.
I wonder if they did that just because of the leaked footage. Like, all right, because you don't need an image of Doctor Strange running down the street.
No.
Like in your.
That was the last thing I ever thought he ever did. He always is like floating.
Yeah, he'd float somewhere. Yeah, he'd teleport or whatever. But I liked it. Like clearly, this is going to be a special effects. Like
Tilda Swinton.
I hate 3D movies. I get headaches. I don't like them. I don't think the technology is where it needs to be. So I have no attraction to them. But on a movie like this, that's this heavy on special effects, you have to wonder what all that world folding stuff is going to look like in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
So
probably not great.
No, but I would almost do it and then go see it again. I really like the current Doctor Strange book. He was always sort of on the periphery in the 90s, where he's always on the side of all the Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, stories where he's involved. But that was really, like, I knew of him, and I thought it was cool, but I wasn't around during the... Was that your stomach?
That was.
Are you okay?
I think so.
Is something going to explode out of your chest?
I might be giving birth.
That's awful. But yeah, I'm excited for Doctor Strange. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be different from everything we've seen thus far.
Yeah.
And it's more like all of these movies are obviously special effects heavy, but this one is meant to be.
Yep.
And it feels like they're going to harken back to the really 70s psychedelic stuff.
Yep.
And that is perfect.
And they got
Absolutely
the Chiwetel
perfect.
Ejiofor that I love so much.
Yes, they did.
And I did get a genuine laugh out of the Wi-Fi joke at the end of that trailer.
Nice.
I laughed pretty hard.
Good.
We're not savages.
No. And because again, you need to keep that Marvel levity in there.
Yeah.
What I like is that even though it's this, mystic stuff, they're not going dark with it. Where they could.
Yeah.
They could have the Dormammu and the Hell Dimensions and Blackheart and Mephisto.
Which would be a big step to take for that first step.
Yeah, to go. That feels more like the Netflix stuff, which we'll talk about after this. So I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of it looked very much like Inception. But the special effects in Inception were exceptional.
Yeah.
So
Inceptional.
So yay for Doctor Strange?
Yay.
All right. Let's move into... Should we just get Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out of the way?
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't watch it. Do you?
No.
They had a trailer saying that they're going to have Ghost Rider. But
the freaking do.
It's the Robbie Reyes version, the current version of Ghost Rider, who has a car, and they revealed the car. Yeah. Because the whole point of the Ghost Rider is it doesn't need to be on a motorcycle. That was kind of the whole point of the character when it was created. But Well, actually, I take it back, because there was the original Ghost Rider way back in the day who rode a horse. But it was not like it showed in the movie. It wasn't like a bone horse. It was just a guy who rode a white horse and had like a skull mask or something.
Which would be fine. But that movie was so bad.
Yes, it was.
Both of them.
I did not watch the sequel.
I have.
Ooh.
And sadly, it's better than the original.
I saw the thing where he urinates fire.
Yeah.
That was like in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was enough.
The number one reason I say it's a better movie is because in the original, there's the scene where he has his shirt off.
And it's plastic abs.
It's all
like the rubber.
CGI abs.
Yeah.
That's millions of dollars of money being spent to give
Nick Cage
abs that he wasn't willing to spend a few hours a day.
Despite his turkey neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just so weird.
That itself was like, okay, I'm out of this movie right now.
Yeah.
I can see the production aspects of this, and you have totally broken the spell.
Because they had the budget to do some cool stuff. They just didn't, and they cast Nicolas Cage. Which, I guess fine, but I would have him in there if they want to have him in there as Johnny Blaze, I guess, because we don't need the mullet with the Hellfire shotgun Johnny Blaze kind
we could have had him as the bad guy.
Yes. Yeah, he could have been a good Mephisto.
Much better.
Dude, Mephisto.
Yeah.
Right? Nicolas Cage has Mephisto.
Because he can be over the top as he wants.
And it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, or you have him if he's an older Johnny Blaze, then give us Danny Ketch.
Yeah.
Give us the second Ghost Rider who is much more 80s style, bigger shoulder pad kind of thing.
Yep.
Which they very much, I feel, used the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider look.
Yeah.
And just called him Johnny Blaze. But this one is going to be Robbie Reyes who drives a car.
Okay.
But same effect, it still turns into a big flaming thing, and I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't know. Like, their whole thing is all these Inhumans because you can't say mutant, and, I've heard good things, I know...
So, let me ask you a question. What kind of car does this guy drive? Burt Reynolds?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, that didn't...
Is it a Toyota Yaris?
That didn't Burt Reynolds me. And sorry. You keep losing me. But so I guess good for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but here's my theory. It's going to be like when they did Doomsday on Smallville, not to bring Smallville back up again, where they did it like once because they don't have the budget. That's what I'm seeing out of a Ghost Rider on a network television show.
And I don't know if the Ghost Rider skull logo that they used in the trailer is what he's supposed to look like, but he was like all cheekbone. I mean, it was just these massive little cheekbones, and then everything else was recessed, and I... It's like, that doesn't look like a real skull at all.
So we'll see what happens. I figured they'll have the character maybe in an episode or two. Maybe that's what they're teasing. I don't think that's a character that's going to join S.H.I.E.L.D. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, or he'll be the guy in normal clothes, like, almost all the time, and then, like,
once
you'll see him flare up and then ride off and then off-screen doing stuff.
That's very much... Firestorm in Legends of Tomorrow. They just don't have the budget to have him as Firestorm doing Firestorm things all the time.
Yeah.
So instead it's the two separate characters running around most of the time. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, if it's a third season of a show, all of those actors are getting paid more money. The show's budget will have increased in order to hopefully compensate for that. But then to bring in something as CG heavy as Ghost Rider, I don't see it happening. What I am excited for, Netflix shows.
Oh, yeah.
Should we just lump all of them together?
Oh.
We got a teaser for Daredevil Season 3.
Yes, we did.
We got proper trailers for Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and there was even like a sort of pseudo-trailer that sort of cut everything together into a Defenders trailer.
Yes.
Which is interesting. I didn't figure we would see that much stuff. I didn't think we'd see that much Iron Fist stuff. And that's the one you're most excited for? Like Daredevil Season 3, we're all looking forward to, I assume.
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with the Iron Fist so much.
Okay.
But I do really like Power Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen Jessica Jones yet.
I have not.
Which you need to do.
I do.
Because it's a really good show. And that's where they introduce Luke Cage. I'm looking forward to that show. I think it's going to be very good. And each one of these shows, clearly, we've only gotten Daredevil and Jessica Jones, so we can't really speak to this too much. But so far, each one is very much its own beast.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of show Luke Cage is, and then what Iron Fist is going to be. There was already a little backlash because they're like, we know that the character's been around for decades, but do you really need to give us another white guy who learns things from, and I'm going to use finger quotes for this that you can't see, the Orient?
Yeah.
Because that's how it was done. It's the Shadow who learns things overseas. And Danny Rand, who learns things
Ancient
overseas.
Chinese secrets and mystic ways of the
Right.
Orient.
And it's like that whole 70s, fascination.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole genre.
So we'll see. But I don't know a whole lot about Iron Fist beyond that. I know he's in the Spider-Man cartoon right now.
Mm-hmm. And I know that Luke Cage and Iron Fist pair up together all the time.
for Heroes for Hire. So, they'll be... So I'm looking forward to that. I kind of hope that then Luke Cage maybe rolls into Iron Fist, maybe.
I'd like to see what their costume is going to be for Iron Fist. Because clearly... the gold and green costume that he has
leotard
would be very hard to pull off in any convincing sort of way in the show.
Because everybody's doing the whole body armor leather thing.
Medallion, though? I'd love a nice sexy 70s medallion on him.
Yeah. Or Luke Cage getting the chains.
Yeah. And maybe if he keeps that beard, instead of shaving it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I look forward to everything Netflix. Marvel on Netflix is doing it right. They have the ability to do it. They're telling street level stories, so they don't need to spend a ton of money on special effects, which is perfect.
Yep.
They didn't, as far as I know, say a whole lot about Punisher. A lot of people talk to John Barenthal. We know that potentially that's going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. It looks like they're going to wrap the Punisher into the Defenders from that Defenders thing, which seems odd. It's always weird to me anytime they put the Punisher on a team.
Yeah, and he doesn't work well with others.
He shouldn't.
No.
Unless
they're like of the same let's kill them all mentality.
Like in the Greg Rucka run, there was Sergeant Rachel Cole Alves or something, but basically a female and it made sense because he was helping her get revenge. So he's not the main character, really. He's helping the main character.
Yeah.
But
I mean, maybe if you brought in somebody who's known for like killing people, like Wolverine or I don't know, Cable or somebody who's like a gritty comic book hero that doesn't pull punches.
Right.
Yeah, then I'd understand them working together. But yeah, for like Daredevil, where he pulls every punch, and presumably Iron Fist and the Power Man will do the same thing. You know, but we'll see.
And did we mention? Well, it doesn't matter. We already left the DC stuff. I was going to ask if we had mentioned Gotham at all, but I don't think it really matters. Yeah. So, lots of stuff. Obviously, we went over a ton of different stuff, and that's mostly just the trailers. So, my question to you then, Liam. Who won Comic-Con? What are you most excited for walking away from all of this?
Ooh. I've always been a DC guy, and as excited as I am for the new season of Daredevil and for Iron Fist and Power Man, my heart really lies with the JLA. I wasn't expecting it at all. I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think it looked really cool. I like the idea that Batman is sort of like the vet in the group, that he's getting the gang together to presumably stop some larger threat. So I guess I'd have to say that the JLA has me right now.
Okay. Though it's just Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
obviously Marvel wins because they have volumes of stuff to put out there.
Right.
But the thing that has me most excited
for you personally.
Yeah, the JLA movie.
I think... And it's so tough. I kind of want to give it to Netflix and the Marvel Netflix stuff, which is odd because we know all of that's coming. So we kind of already have a hint. I am, because I've just liked everything that they've put out. And that's really tough because I would say it's, I'm really excited to see Doctor Strange. I'm really excited to see Wonder Woman. But just as far as, sitting and binging Marvel on Netflix... just cranking through Daredevil Season 2. I did it in like a day and a half, which I do not do. I find it very hard to find time to sit down and watch a lot of stuff.
I agree.
So for me to actually find the time or make the time to just sit and go through all those Daredevil episodes in just a couple of days. And really, I haven't gone back to it. You'd think I'd go back and rewatch, Jessica Jones and Daredevil Season 2. There's just too much stuff I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. I tried to rewatch the first season of Daredevil myself, and as much as I loved it, I just had other things I needed to watch.
I will say, though, I don't know what to expect out of Defenders.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I'm not excited that they're building up. It's not like with the Marvel movies where you're clearly excited because you're getting to the Avengers. I am not necessarily looking forward to the Defenders. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just loving that we are expanding this sort of Netflix Marvel universe, because as much as I love the Marvel movies and how light and bright and colorful they are, I'm really digging the more down-to-earth, gritty, like, we just want to save this 5-block radius in New York kind of thing. I really like those stories, and it's not going to happen, oh, I want to see a Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see them do a version of Moon Knight. And depending on which version, because Moon Knight keeps getting reinvented, which if you listen to my podcast, you know about, because I talk about each issue as it comes out and how they keep... I did a whole episode on it. I think it has the least listens of any of my episodes. It's the one on Moon Knight. So apparently I'm alone there. But
you just got to get it onto the right message board. Like, hey, guys.
I guess so. That's true.
Moon
I don't do a lot of work. I put it out there just because I do this stuff.
There's got to be a subreddit for the Moon Knight.
I'm sure. But I think that does it for me, with probably Doctor Strange in second and Wonder Woman in third. Because Doctor Strange just looks like it's going to look amazing. And that's all I think anybody's going to really want out of that movie.
Yeah.
Is just to
I
really
know very little about the
give
character,
me all the magic,
visually.
give me all the world-bending, mind-warping stuff. And then I hope Wonder Woman is just going to be a really good, solid film. I loved the animated Wonder Woman. It is probably my top 3 DC animated stuff. They did such a good job. So if they can bring it up to that kind of level, I'm more than happy. Any last words, I guess, before we close it out? That's all the stuff we had from Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you wanted to say before we see you who knows when next time? Anything else you want to throw in there? I don't want to go in too long because I haven't looked at the time, but I imagine we've been here for a while.
Yeah.
As far as, I don't know, things you read. Did you get to read any of the stuff that I gave you from last time yet?
I cracked Rat Queens, and I have been enjoying it.
Good.
But I haven't made significant progress to be able to say, yes, I finished it, or that was a good volume. But I like that that comic series and those characters and the way that they tell a fantasy story and make it a little vulgar, just because that's more realistic, a little fun.
A little more entertaining for the adult readers.
Especially for me.
The people who grew up playing D&D and that's because you do play D&D, right?
I do. Not a lot, but I have played it and I do enjoy it.
Okay. I want to make that its own episode because I don't even know what class or character or any of that you play.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to ask now. I'm not going to ask. I'll do it once we turn the mic off. I'll do it once we're done recording.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming in and doing this. I hope this was enjoyable for other people, certainly more than me just sitting alone talking about Comic-Con.
And I hope that the internet explodes at my Burt Reynolds impression joke and just listens to you sit there awkwardly.
If I keep it in. Unless I cut it out and now nobody knows what we're talking about. Adds to the mystique.
Yeah.
You want to close it out? Should we do the same thing we did for the intro? I thought that was fun.
Sure.
Go for it.
Ba 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 ba.
All right. Thank you. Oh, boy, I suppose we should say see you next time.
See you
next time.
next time.
But I don't know if you'll be here. I'd like it if you were here.
I'll be here in spirit.
All right.
I'll be here anytime you want me to be.
I'll smell your beard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stench of you. Yeah, the beard smell. Let's make sure it was still recording.